Hey guys, it's Mercedes and welcome to my YouTube channel. Okay, so this is my very first video that I'm doing on this channel. I was thinking about how I wanted to start my channel off, about like things I wanted to incorporate in my channel, what I want to talk about, what I want to be about. And first off, this channel is all about positivity, love, just caring about one another. We don't bash anybody here. I'm going to do story times, but in those story times, I'm not bashing nobody. I'm just telling my truth, telling my side of the story. And yeah, it's all love on this side. Nothing, negative over here. We're not doing none of that. So, because that's not me. So, if that's what you're about, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the video. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys a good story time to start off my channel. And, I had a lot of stuff that went on in my life, but it's this one event that I feel really deeply about, and I want to tell y'all because more people had this type of situation happen in their life than I thought. A lot of people have been through this, so I figured let me tell y'all my story so y'all could see just like what I went through, and maybe other people can relate and get some insight on things, because watching other people's videos on this opened my brain up. So let me open y'all's up. Let's go. This story time is about how my boyfriend and my ex-boyfriend what this story time is about how my boyfriend and my best friend got together. Let's give names. Ex-boyfriend's name is going to be Brad. My ex-best friend's name is going to be Angie. Angie and Brad. Boom. So I've known Angie for 7 years. I've known Brad for like 5. We were friends for like 2 years, and we dated for 3 years after. So yeah, there is that. I don't quite remember how all 3 of us started to hang out, but I met Brad from when I was working at McDonald's when I was in high school. I met Angie from, we were in the same dance group. So backstory information, boom, there you go. Angie, she was always single. She was the type of person, she was like a hot girl. She was a hot girl. Like, you touch her and like you burn it. And it's crazy because she was like single but not single at the same time. For years on years, she was single and not single. So that was her. She was a hot girl. She had hot girl years instead of hot girl summers. And she used to always invite me out to go out with her, do single stuff. But I used to always tell her, like, I have a boyfriend. I can't do stuff like that. If we go, I gotta bring him. Just trying to be a good girl, because I feel like certain stuff you can't really do when you're in a relationship. So that's what time I was on. That's the time I was on. She used to always kind of get mad, but it came one point in time where she was just like, you know what, y'all do stuff, I'm just going to tag along with you. So after a while, it started becoming me, her, and him. Me, Brandy, what's his name? Brad. Me, Brad, and Angie. It always was me, Brad, and Angie. We would always do stuff together like that. At first, in the beginning, when we first all started to hang out, everything was cool. But after a while, it became, flirtatious between them. They had ended up getting each other's numbers because my old phone, the maps did not work on it. So, it was like this whole big thing where they had to get each other's numbers. I feel like that was like my fault, kind of, in a way. There's no way I could have prevent all this stuff from happening. But I gave him her number because my phone wasn't working at the time. And I didn't know that me doing that was going to make all this big mess. So I should have never, but note to self, I'm not doing that again. Y'all don't do that, because don't do that, note to self. So after a while of us hanging out for so much, they became flirtatious. And it was like little stuff at first, like, you know, her making a whole bunch of jokes, talking about him. He used to laugh so hard, laugh, blah, blah, blah. And then it came to the point where she would like make fun of me, because she knows that I go to church a lot. I love gospel music. So you should be like, oh, Mercedes, you should get on the aux. And I'm about to plug my phone into the aux, and then she'll be like, oh, wait, no. You don't play all that gospel music. Like, she'd just be, like, going in, like, making fun of me and, like, who I am and what I like. And he used to, like, agree with her. So, it was that stuff that made me start thinking, like, what's going on? I don't like you talking about me and you being my boyfriend. You should not be entertaining this. But she was. But he was. But, And then, over time, it became, she would be at my house chilling, They would text each other at the same table. I noticed that they would text each other. So over time, it went from the insults and making fun of me to them actually, like, texting each other without me being in it. We'll be at the table, she'll laugh, he'll laugh. And I'm just like, I would text him, why are y'all texting each other? Oh no, she's want to tell me something. I don't care what she want to tell you. She ain't telling me nothing, so why is she telling you something? So, that was another red flag. But me, I was just a bad guy. He made me really insecure and all this other stuff. And he made me seem like I was stupid or naive. And he was like, you tripping, like, for real. Like, what are you doing? So I was like, all right, you're right. And then one time I hit her up because, again, they were texting. And I was like, why are you talking to, I don't even know what's going on. And she's like, oh, no, I just want to tell him something. It's not that big of a deal, Mercedes. I'm sorry. Like, she used to apologize. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't even know. He's my brother. You're just thinking too much. And I was like, okay. I remember a time where her and I had gotten an argument because, like, my ex was bad. Like, he was so bad. Made me feel terrible about myself. So I would hit her up asking for advice. And one time she told me, like, honestly, Mercedes, he's the man of the relationship. You should just do what he says. He wears the pants. And I felt some type of way about that. Like, why are you defending him? I would tell her all this crazy stuff he's making me do, all the stuff he's doing to me. She would be like, honestly, Mercedes, he wears the pants in the relationship. So you should just go along with it and everything's good. We got in an argument because she said that, and I don't like that. I don't like, what she said. So we got in an argument, but still in an argument, I was never disrespectful. I never said nothing to hurt her. It was just like, friends argue, so I felt like it was one of those arguments. But apparently, I don't know, it was something else. But I wasn't talking to her for like a while. And then she just came through one day. I ended up walking out of my house. Sorry. I ended up walking out of my house. And I saw her outside talking to him. I saw Angie outside talking to Brad in her car. I didn't even know she was there. So I walk out and she said something to me. She's like, are we good? Are we good? Everything okay with you? And I was like, what? Like, what are you doing? I didn't even know it was her. I was like, what are you doing here? She's like, y'all good? And then, like, I go over there to talk about everything. And she's just like, you keep tripping on him. Like, he's not doing nothing to you and blah, 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 and this and that. And I get mad. Because I'm like, why are y'all over here, one, talking about me? Why are you still defending him? And why is my boyfriend, my supposed to be boyfriend, talking to like my best friend. Like, what are y'all doing? I started getting mad. Here she goes, start laughing like it's nothing, blah blah blah, whatever, it's nothing. I get a phone call, and then I'm like, I gotta answer this. I hear her in the back, and she's just like, oh, huh, you know, it's like this whole thing where she was telling him I was cheating, which I was not. I never cheated. But it's like this whole thing. She's like, oh, huh. And then he says, he's like, she's probably talking to him. And I'm, in my head, I'm like, what? I get really mad. And she's like, Mercedes, calm down. Why are you getting so defensive? Why are you getting so defensive? Like, I was pissed off. So I walk away. I walk away. And then later that night, she hits me up and she apologizes. Me, I'm like too nice. And I'm just like, okay, I forgive you. But now I know there's signs for a reason. Now I know. But yeah, she apologizes. That's cool. That's whatever. And then I found out, I was just talking to my boyfriend at the time, Brad. I was talking to him. I found out that he said something about him being at her house. And I was like, you know, like, when was this? Like, we were just talking. And he was just like, yeah, you know, I went and helped her with Bob. Oops. I went to Angie and helped her with blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait, so you went to Angie's house without me? And he was like, yeah, but it wasn't a big deal. I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, well, and why didn't you tell me or ask me? Because you already know my assumptions about y'all. Like, what are y'all doing? And he was like, you tripping. It's nothing serious. Like, you overreacting. So then, I don't say nothing to her about that. But obviously they talk because she ends up hitting me up. And she's like, oh, Mercedes, I'm so sorry that, you got mad for him coming over. I didn't think that was disrespectful. You know, this blah, blah, this and that. And again, I swear, again, she apologizes. I take her back. Not thinking, like, signs. I swear, God was telling me so many signs that these people don't need to be in my life. But I'm so forgiving. I was just like, it's whatever. Again, I passed it. It's whatever. So then, it's one night at my house where we had, like, a drinking party. We had some games and some other stuff. And so I kind of drank a little too much. I end up going to bed. I go to bed, and I remember this. I asked him, I'm like, so are you going to, like, come to bed with me? And he's like, not yet. I'm gonna stay out here, play the game. Mind you, she was out there, and you know how they were, like, just, they still flirted a lot, whatever. But I tried to believe that nothing was going on. And sometimes he used to sleep out in the living room before going to bed. So I was like, okay. But she was out there, and he's like, I'm gonna stay out here for a little bit, and blah blah blah, this and that. Okay, cool. I go to bed, and then I wake up the next day, and something is just like, I don't know, like, with him, with her, like, you know when you just feel something? I just felt, it was so weird to me that he didn't come to bed. It was so weird. So I woke up, and I remembered that. I was like, he didn't come to bed. And then, long story short, there's so many components to this where I can just give so much information. But long story short, I end up seeing their messages to each other because she tells me that he's been flirting with her. I get real mad, like really mad. I was at work too, and that's when I was a delivery driver. And I remember getting off, racing home, because I was so mad at him. I raced home, and he's like, oh, for real? She gonna say all this stuff? He's like, all right, well, I got this. Hold up. He takes his phone, and he's like, just scrolling. And he's like, yeah, see this? And a whole bunch of messages showing her flirting with him. And I was just like, this whole time y'all were calling me stupid. Like, I didn't know what to think. I went off on him. I went off on her. And I don't know. Like, that hurt is just something that I don't want to show nobody. Like I keep saying, there's so many components to the story where I just gave y'all the gist of the story, but over time I'm going to give y'all a lot more information and a lot more stuff, because y'all gonna be like, oh my goodness, wow, there's so much to it. It's so many stories. But that's the gist of my boyfriend sleeping with my best friend and all that. So if you want more information, if you want to see everything else that happened in my life when it came to them two, just like, comment, and subscribe. That's all I gotta say. Just like, comment, and subscribe, and y'all just figure out everything. But I do want to say, through all that, I became a better person. I became positive. Nothing hurts me, because my whole mindset changed because of that. So, like, yeah, I hated that situation, but I'm thankful for it, because it did make me a better person. So, yeah, that's just the gist of the story. And I will give y'all more. I will. And when I do, I hope y'all enjoy it. So, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Come back for more, and thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed night. And goodbye.